What is up, guys? I'm Rick Kakis, and today we have the Vault of Glass raid in Destiny 2 for Dummies, showcasing every single mechanic of every single encounter, secret chests, loadout tips, and more, explained so straightforward with such detail that even a dummy will get this raid done. And so, let's get started. But just before we do, these raid guides are the biggest videos of the year for me. A ton of time and effort works into being able to day one complete these and then bring you the guide as quickly as possible. Guys, if you enjoy this video, if you find it helpful, please remember to support it by liking and especially sharing. And hey, if I can teach you a raid, I can teach you a lot of other stuff, so make sure to subscribe. Alright, now let's get started here with the beginning encounter. You're going to load in to the Vault of Glass, and the first thing you're going to see is a large open area. In fact, you can even take out your sparrows within this area. Now, there's going to be 3 different Vex platforms. When you start to stand on them, you will see that kind of Vex glowing effect around the rim rise, and you're going to have teammates standing on these platforms while this effect rises and rises until you eventually complete this encounter. Now, there's going to be 3 separate portals, so 2 teammates on each portal, and as you can see, when you're holding out here, you're going to be pressured by adds. There's going to be minotaurs, normal goblins, and some hobgoblins, and then every once in a while some cyclopses will spawn as well. Make sure to take those guys out. They can snipe you from across the map. Don't be afraid to get really aggressive and die in order to kill some of these enemies, because there's no limit on respawns in this area either. Now, once you've held out on the 3 different plate locations for long enough, you will see a spire in the middle of this map, building and building. Eventually, it will shoot a beam at the entrance, and this will let you inside to officially start this raid. But don't forget, there's actually a chest you can snag right at the opening of this doorway. Now, once you are inside, you can head to the left, as you can see, to continue to the first encounter. However, there's a secret way you can go if you jump off this ledge, turn around, and as you can see, there's a small hole. Go in here and make your way down this secret passageway. Eventually, as you continue forward, you will come across a secret chest, as you can see right here. Remember that these secret chests will award Vault of Glass specific armor mods. So if you open a few and then get a piece of Vault of Glass armor, it's probably a good idea to level that up so you can utilize these powerful mods. But eventually, as you continue forward, you're going to make your way to this arena here and begin the second Vault of Glass encounter, where you defend the Confluxes. So, what you're supposed to do is pretty much in that name. You defend the confluxes that spawn. Initially, only 1 conflux will spawn in the very middle of this arena, so everyone can spread out on the left, on the right, and in the center, or stay more tight-knit in the center and simply defend the conflux from adds. It's very similar to a Vex public event where you're kind of doing the same thing. Now, eventually, that conflux will disappear and 2 will spawn, 1 on the left and 1 on the right. And then after you defend those for a while, 3 confluxes will spawn, 1 right, 1 left, and 1 center where it originally was. So again, what you can do is kind of move your team around, shuffle them around based on where these confluxes are, or simply set your team up with 2 to the right, 2 to the left, and 2 in the middle, and you can just stay there the entire time no matter where the confluxes are, because the enemies are going to spawn from pretty much the same locations. Now, in terms of things you want to do to defend the confluxes, definitely ad clearing supers are fantastic here. So something like the Banner Shield for Titan with Ursa Furiosa, that's what I was using. It recharges really fast, pretty darn good against the adds. The Wither Horde was especially fantastic. Simply putting that down where the enemies were spawning out of a door, just spawn killed all of them. It was unbelievable. But something like the Salvager Salvo would be great as well. Keep in mind, there are going to be some powerful enemies, specifically wyverns that spawn, so you do want some stuff that can take care of those. Perhaps some Geomag Chaos Reaches, or even like double ticking them with Anarchy and then just finishing them off is a pretty good idea as well. However, when all of this is going on, there's something you need to be aware of. When you kill the Fanatics and they drop that Vex goop that damages you, in these next few encounters, including this one, that goop does a little bit more. if you accidentally step in it, you're going to see marked for negation on the corner of your screen. If you do nothing, every once in a while the Templar will shoot out a ritual of negation, as you can see, and anyone that is marked for negation will die during this time. So if you do step in the goop, what you need to do is head down to this area here at the very center of this arena, kind of below where the Templar is seated, and there's a glowing kind of well here of light almost. You hop in here and that gets rid of your mark of negation. But it's time to move on from there to the Oracle encounter, and this one has definitely gotten more difficult since Destiny 1, whereas before you simply had to shoot the oracles, now you have to shoot them in the exact order that they spawn. So let's take a look at all of the different oracle spawn locations and their callouts. Starting here in the back of the map on the right side, we have R3. Then going a little bit more towards the start location, we have R2. And then we have R1 closest to spawn. Then there's going to be mid, that spawns right here in the middle. Going to the left side, we have L1. Then we've got L2 in the middle. And then lastly, closest to the back, we have L3. So what you need to do is, unlike in the Conflux defense where you were positioning yourself to kill ads, you're going to have your team doing a couple of different things. There are going to need to be a few people focused on ad clearing, because there will be, quite a few ads, not as much as last time, but certainly enough to pressure you. And there's also going to be hobgoblins that spawn on the outside of the map. These are a huge pain. You will need to have people running linear fusion rifles, sniper rifles, doesn't really matter, something long range though, to take these guys out fast. Now, as those people are worried about the ads, the rest of the team, probably about 3, maybe even 4 members of the team, need to be worried about the oracles, finding out where they're spawning and again in what order. So it's very valuable if you can position those people on areas like right here, what you're seeing, where you can see many different oracle spawn locations. Like from this area, I can see multiple spawn locations on the right side. I can see if it spawns in mid, even L1 I can see from here. Likewise, someone positioned in the back can see L3 and R3 at the same time to see which one of those spawns. And someone with a good position in the middle can watch over the middle spawn, and of course like L1, R1, and even L2 and R2 somewhat you can see from a good middle position. So it's going to take some trial and error, but you just need to have, at least 3 members of your team positioned around the map, make sure all of the different spawn points are covered, and those teammates are watching multiple different spawn points to figure out where they spawn. So there's going to be initially 2 different run-throughs. So you're going to see one oracle location is going to blink, then another location is going to blink, and then another location is going to blink, and then it's going to do that one more time. It's going to run through the order one more time, and then they're all actually going to spawn for real at the same time. And you have to shoot those oracles in the order to which they appeared. So if middle lights up and then goes away, and then R1 lights up and goes away, and R3 lights up and goes away, you shoot middle, then R1, then R3. It's just a matter of remembering, it's a matter of getting the callouts right, because 3 are going to spawn initially, and then 4 oracles are going to spawn, and then 5, and the number will keep increasing, so it's going to continuously get more difficult to remember and to call out which order they spawned. Now, a couple of tips here. Firstly, you actually have a pretty decent amount of time to kill the oracles. Like, you don't want to rush and take them out right away and make a mistake. It's better to maybe ask, wait, are you sure which one was first again? Oh, okay, R1? Okay, I'll kill R1. You definitely do have time to do that. It's messing up the order that will screw you up more often than not. But another huge loadout tip is to use the Xenophage exotic machine gun. That will one-shot kill oracles, which is fantastic. Even in challenge mode for the day one, it one-shot killed oracles. And it also doubles as a fantastic anti-hobgoblin weapon. So a few people run, especially the people on oracle watching duty, if they're running Xenophage, man, that helps out a ton. But moving on from there, we have our first boss encounter with the Templar. And this one, it can be pretty rough the first time around. So you're going to notice that a new item, a relic, has spawned in the very center of the map near the font of light where you got rid of your mark of negation. When you pick this relic up, it's going to kind of start the encounter, and if you are the relic holder, you can do many different things with it. So it replaces your abilities. So instead of shoot, you'll swipe the shield and you can use this to attack adds. You can jump and then right click or aim down sights, whatever, to slam down on the ground from afar. You can block, and that's going to put a shield around you, and it's going to protect nearby allies as well. And very importantly, you can activate your super when you have the relic, and that is going to do kind of a new kind of super where you shoot a projectile forward where you're facing. So, you're going to need a teammate dedicated to holding the relic. Then you're going to start the encounter, and the Templar is going to move around and shoot at you. After a while, the Templar is going to summon oracles. It's just going to summon 3 different oracles, and the same rules apply. You need to pay attention to what order those 3 oracles spawn, and then you need to destroy them in that order. Now, once you do, then you can DPS the Templar, because if you don't kill the oracles in time, the team wipes. So obviously do that. Now you want to set up in a position where all your teammates are coming together to use a well, use a bubble, use some damage output strategies to DPS this guy. Then whoever has the relic is going to use their relic super to hit the boss. As you can see, once you do, the boss's immune shield is going to go down, allowing you to damage the boss. When this happens, a couple of teammates are going to get detained. So as you can see, kind of a bubble is going to appear around them. They can't shoot now. They're taken away from DPS. So you need to shoot the outside of this bubble, if you're not detained, to free those teammates so they can get back into the fight. Now here's where things get interesting. After a short while, the Templar will teleport away and the damage phase will end unless you stop it. So you're actually going to see a mark on the ground, as you can see right here, of where the Templar is planning to teleport to. So if you have a teammate, any at all, standing in this location, the ring is going to turn red and the Templar will not be able to spawn here. So what you can do is have, for example, the relic holder go out, stand in that location, use the block to protect themselves to prevent the Templar from teleporting, which means that your damage phase extends. And you can do this a lot. You can block a lot of different teleports. But here's the thing. Every teleport you block, Minotaurs are going to spawn. So you really need to decide with your team, do you want less adds to deal with and just do maybe one block, maybe no blocks, get the damage in as quickly as possible. It blocks, you reposition, shoot 3 oracles, DPS again with no blocks. If you do that, again, there's going to be much less adds, it's going to be much less overwhelming. Or you can go for the straight block every teleport route, try to do as much damage as possible, but then just keep in mind that when the damage phase eventually ends, when oracles eventually start to spawn, you're going to have a crap ton of adds to deal with, and you can easily wipe to this, because eventually in that DPS phase, like I said, the Templar is going to spawn more oracles. So generally what I would say for most teams is you only want to block 1 teleport or no teleports, and just do the damage you can and then reposition, get ready for those oracles, prevent that wipe, and then just do another damage phase. That's going to be a lot easier than going all for nothing and potentially getting yourself screwed, missing oracles, or getting overwhelmed by adds. But if the enrage mechanic is here and the boss is down to like a third, that's the time to extend the damage phase as much as possible, right? Because what you can end up doing is do some small damage phases at first and then go all for broke when the boss is down to a third, because then who cares if adds spawn? You're ending the encounter, you're killing the boss, so it doesn't even matter. So that's another strategy to consider as well. So with all that being said, here's a quick summary. You destroy 3 oracles, you use the relic super to take down the boss's shield, DPS as much as possible, then you're going to block 1 or more boss teleports to extend the damage phase if you want to. Then when your damage phase is done, you get back into position because 3 more oracles will spawn. You have to kill those, get back into position, super the boss with the relic, DPS again. Rinse and repeat. Alright, now once you do kill this boss, then the door is going to open and you can continue forward, or you can head to the left and go into this little cave system here, and that is another kind of secret route. However, we didn't find any chests here. In fact, that the infamous Galahorn chest wasn't even here. However, one of the chests, at least in Destiny 1, was connected to blocking all of his teleports, and then the chest would spawn, so potentially that one's going to be back there if you do that. But moving on from there, eventually you're going to stumble upon the Gorgon encounter. So this is completely different from most other raid encounters. What you need to do is not fight anything, because if you get too close to a Gorgon, as you can see, it's going to light up, it's going to detect you, and then the entire team will wipe. Now you can damage the Gorgons, and maybe technically, especially after day 1, you could kill one before the wipe mechanic starts, but shooting is likely to attract more, so you really want to keep things on the DL for this one. Now keep in mind that their level of detection is based on what you're doing. So if you're just crouch walking, they're less likely to detect you. If you are sprinting, they can maybe turn where if you're crouch walking, they wouldn't move. If you double jump, they don't like that at all. They're definitely going to come for you. And again, if you use abilities, shoot whatever, they come towards you. So it's really all about sneaking your way around. Now, there is a secret chest in this encounter. If you head over to the right side, as you can see in the same spot as Destiny 1, there's nothing there and the door is closed. What you actually need to do is shoot the 3 different Vex boxes around this maze. One of them you can snipe from right here. The second one is closer to the middle of the maze, as you can see right here. And I'm really sorry guys, we did not find the third one. I scoured the community trying to find a screenshot of the third one, but absolute clowns are uploading videos on how to do this, and they didn't even show the locations. They would have their teammates off in the distance doing it. So the best I can do is 2 out of 3. Good luck on the third one. But let's talk about how to beat this. So for this encounter, there is a preferable route you can take. What you want to do is run forward to the left pathway. Then you're going to need to sneak around the first couple of Gorgons and get your team up on this rock. Try not to double jump going up here. But once you're at the tippy top of this rock, then the Gorgons are out of range. They won't be able to really detect you. Still make sure there isn't any directly underneath you, but then you're going to want to jump to this side platform, and from this side platform, you're going to want to jump forward to this other platform. You're staying above where the Gorgons can see you. Now from this position, you're going to wait until the Gorgons are far enough away from you, none underneath you, none near you, and then you're going to drop down and run forward, and there's a little cave system, as you can see. You head in here, and then you're in the clear. Now from here, you actually make your way down this kind of jumping puzzle. There's going to be platforms that spawn and then despawn, so you're going to have to time your jumps very well. Then you're going to have to make your way along this ledge, eventually leading to this massive doorway that will only open when all of your teammates are here. However, right near this door, there's actually a new secret chest, as you can see right here. So definitely go ahead and grab this one. However, moving on from there, we then have the Gatekeeper encounter, and this one is going to be different from Destiny 1. So there is going to be 2 portals on either side of this encounter. You stand on the platforms, or you can actually stand on these pillars that are in the middle of these platforms, and that is going to load up the plate, and it's going to open these portals. Then you can head inside. There's going to be a jungle area to the right, and then there's going to be a desert area to the left. Now, when you hop through, as you can see, there's a Vex Conflux here, and you are defending that as always. And there's going to be a bunch of enemies that are spawning up at the top. Now, eventually, if you just go in here and you defend, there's going to be this big boy that spawns, which is a Minotaur with an immune shield. So you can actually break this immune shield with a relic, as you can see. So after you kill that initial Gatekeeper that's in the very center of this map, before going through the portals, it drops a relic in that location, in the very center of this arena. So someone needs to go and grab this relic, and then you send one person in the portal on the right one person in the portal on the left, and those people are simply defending the conflux from adds. There's going to need to be some people outside holding open those portals. Now, from here, the defenders are going to call out which side the Minotaur spawns on. So, if it spawned on jungle and I was defending jungle, I'd say, oh, right side jungle portal, and the person with the relic runs through the right portal to go and defeat that Minotaur, because otherwise, it's immune and it would just get to the conflux and sacrifice itself, and then you're going to wipe. However, there's a catch, because whenever the relic holder specifically goes through a portal, he's going to get a debuff on the corner of his screen. As you can see, teleport destabilized for 45 seconds, which means you cannot go through any portals for 45 seconds. So as a result, this encounter is all about constantly switching relic holders, because at a surface level, it's pretty simple. You have people on the right and left side open the portals, two people go in or one person goes in on each side and simply defends the conflux. But you have those immune minotaurs, so you need to have someone with a relic bouncing between the two different sides to defeat those immune shield enemies. And I know that might sound a little complicated, so let's break things down. There always needs to be one person inside the left portal holding out the conflux and one person holding open the left portal outside on the platform. Same thing for the right side. So that means there's kind of two teammates as flex slots. One of those two teammates has to initially grab the relic and head into whatever side has the Minotaur. So if the right side's like, oh, jungle side, right side, the Minotaur's here, the guy with the relic heads in, kills the Minotaur, and then gives it to whoever was holding out on the right side, because the relic guy can't go back through, and he replaces that guy's job. So now there's a new relic holder, he heads back outside, so he, once he goes outside, can't go back inside because he's got the debuff. So he heads over to the left side to the person holding open the left portal and switches jobs with then. Now, that guy holds open the left portal, and the new relic holder heads inside to kill their Minotaur. Rinse and repeat. Like, they're going to switch, come back out and head to the right side this time, switch with the person holding open the right side portal, and you just keep doing like that rotation over and over again until you advance to the next part. One more thing you got to be aware of though, during this, gatekeepers are going to spawn and they are going to disable the portals, so you need to kill them to open that back up. And definitely put on some ad clearing supers. You don't need to DPS anything, so stuff that just decimates groups of ads, stuff like Chaos Reach is pretty fantastic, all of that good stuff, because you will need to kill lots of the descendant Vex that are spawning here. But eventually, after you've killed enough of these Minotaurs and you've swapped enough times, eventually there's going to be a new conflux. So the two inner portal confluxes are going to disappear. You don't need to defend those anymore. Then you make your way outside of the portal into the original area, and now there's just one new conflux in the very center of this arena, and you do the same thing. However, there's no need to swap anymore the relic holder because you're not going through any more portals. So simply hold out from the ads, and whoever has the relic, they just constantly look around, as you can see, for those immune shield minotaurs, and they bust those shields whenever they can. Eventually, after you've held out long enough, then you're going to complete this encounter. And so we have the final encounter of the Vault of Glass raid, where you kill Atheon. So what you do here is definitely going to be a bit different than Destiny 1. You're going to start out with the same system of having to open the portals on either the right or left side. So definitely you will have to have people standing likely on those pillars defending them. Keep in mind, there's a lot of harpies that spawn here, so some ad clearing supers wouldn't be the worst idea, or something like Chaos Reach is really valuable because it's good for both ad clearing and DPS, and we'll talk about the DPS strategy in a second here. But after you've just held out, killed a bunch of ads, 3 people seemingly at random will be teleported into one of the different sides. So they're gonna have to call out, okay, we're in desert, or we're in jungle right side. And so then the people on the outside, the people in the original arena, then head over to that, if it was jungle, they head over to the right side, and they have to hold open that right platform. Now, importantly, you don't actually have to stand on this platform literally all the time. You can jump off of it for quite a while actually, and it'll stay open, but you definitely do need to go there initially to open it up so the people who got teleported inside can make it back to the original arena. So, the people who get teleported inside, what they're going to need to do is actually shoot 3 oracles. And they're going to have to shoot the 3 that spawn in the correct order. That is one of the main changes from Destiny 1. And the way you read the order is a little bit complicated because there isn't necessarily dedicated spawn points. There's a lot of variation. So the people who don't get teleported are actually going to see the order of the oracles spawning in that outside arena. Remember, the arena is actually a mirror image in either portal. It's just going to be covered in desert or covered in jungle, right? So it's the same shape and everything. So someone on the outside is going to have to declare themselves the Oracle Watcher, and they're going to have to watch the order that the oracles spawn in and describe it to the team on the inside. Here's the problem. When you teleport inside, everything is inverted initially. So you can do 2 different strategies. You can either invert your callouts, so close to you is far for the other team. That's pretty complicated. What I would recommend doing is the team that gets teleported inside, they sprint immediately to the very back of the arena and they face the other way, because then they're going to be facing the exact same way as the people out with Atheon, right? So then you can describe exactly what you see in terms of the oracles, and the people inside are going to have a really easy time understanding what you mean. So again, you're going to have to relay, right first, then far middle, and then close middle, or left first, and then middle, and then right. Some are going to be easier than others. It is going to be a challenge because sometimes there's going to be 2 on the right and one's close and one's far. And that's again why I'm recommending getting to that back of the inside of the teleporter so you have the same perspective as the other guy and you can much easier decide which of these to shoot. Additionally, if you're at the back of the map here, the ads are for the most part gonna leave you alone and you seemingly don't need to kill any of them. Even the Minotaur that does spawn with the invincible shield, we never really killed it and it didn't seem to do anything. But when you get teleported inside, you're going to notice that your screen starts to get blacker and blacker and blacker, and eventually you won't be able to see, and then after that you're gonna die. So what needs to happen is that when you get teleported in, there's going to be a relic where you spawn. Someone needs to pick that relic up, and then blocking with that relic is going to cleanse your nearby teammates and yourself, the relic holder, and remove that screen darkness. Everything's going to lighten back up, so you will have to, as you can see, cleanse quite a few times when you're in here. And then what you want to do is eventually, after doing 3 sets of oracles, right, in the correct order, then you're going to run back outside, and as soon as you get outside of that portal, hold cleanse. So you go out, you start cleansing, your 2 teammates come out the same portal, they get cleansed, and then we get to the damage phase. So once the people who got teleported come back into the original arena, everyone jumps to the center platform here, and that's because the people that are still outside who didn't get teleported, they're gonna have to defend their platforms from a ton of supplicants that spawn that explode when they get too close. So they're pretty darn annoying and they seem to constantly spawn. So if everyone goes in this middle platform, the supplicants can't get you. So this is where you want to DPS from. But there's some very important catches. Firstly, 1 person out of 6 is going to get detained. That means all of you need to be looking at the corner of your screen to see who gets the imminent detention buff. It's just going to be some white text, but whoever gets that needs to jump away from the team so they get detained and everyone can shoot them. If they don't, what happens is they get detained in the middle area where everyone is, and then that detain sucks everyone in because everyone's standing next to each other, and then your whole team wipes because you can't do anything, you can't break out. So again, whoever has that buff needs to hop away and make sure they don't screw over the rest of their team. Then, when they have the detain shield, you shoot them out and you go back to DPSing. Now, in terms of DPSing, you're going to see the phrase Guardians make their own fate, and then you're going to get a buff times Vengeance, and this gives you massive super regeneration. And that, combined with how much Atheon just moves around and how crappy his crit is, means that the best DPS strategy that my team and apparently a lot of other teams found was simply to use high damaging supers. So myself, I was a Titan. I used the Thunder Crash with the Cuirass of the Falling Star exotic chest piece to boost that damage. And as you can see, I'm just getting some Anarchy ticks with the Breach and Clear mod on Atheon, and then I'm yeeting myself at Atheon, and if I'm lucky, I can do that multiple times within a damage phase. Chaos Reach is fantastic. If you have Warlocks, you really only need one well, and the rest should be Chaos Reaches. Now, interestingly, someone is going to have the Relic. However, the Relic holder, in D1, they needed to block to absorb the damage that Atheon was dealing. But because of Well's existence in D2, that really doesn't seem necessary anymore. You can just stay in the well and you won't die from Atheon, usually. So instead, the Relic holder can drop the Relic and do damage. Now keep in mind, the Relic is gonna despawn in about 6 seconds. So you can drop it, launch a couple of Anarchies, a couple snipes, and then pick it back up. And then do the same thing. Once you pick it back up, you can drop it immediately again. You only need to pick it up for 1 second so it doesn't despawn. But you definitely don't need to have a Relic holder sitting there and holding block the entire time. That's unnecessary this time. So they can drop it to do some damage. So, once Times Vengeance is up, the DPS phase is over, so everyone hop out of this middle area, kill any lingering supplicants. You probably have a few people with their supers back, so feel free to use those. In fact, feel free to use your supers at the beginning of the encounter before the damage phase, because again, you're likely to get them back because of Times Vengeance at the start of the damage phase. And that's really all there is to it. It's simply rinse and repeat at this point. So 3 people get teleported inside, they call out which side they are, the rest of the people go to that side and hold open that portal while defeating supplicants. The people inside kill the ads initially and rush to the back, and then they copy the spawn order of the oracles and destroy the oracles in that order that's relayed to them by someone on the outside. And then once you do that 3 times in a row, you hop back to the original spot, everyone hops in the middle, DPS is Atheon, and you just go back to doing that. Do that a few times, or maybe even 1. If challenge mode is over, then you will get this encounter done, and there is a item that you can interact with at the back of the arena right here, and you can use your Spoils of Conquest. So if anyone saved those, you're feeling pretty smart right now, and you can buy Vault of Glass gear and loot just like you could with the other spoils chest in Deepstone Crypt. And so guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.